Take up your bed and walk. Some days we just need to stop making excuses and take up that bed whereon we're walking and just move ahead in our life. I think there's so many times in life when we make excuses instead of moving forward. We make excuses instead of doing what needs to be done. And I'm going to read you a little story from the Bible that talks a little bit about it. And the reason that I can even talk about this, the reason that I want to talk to you about this is because I catch myself doing this every once in a while. And that sometimes in my life I need to take get a realignment, get kind of realigned, realize what lies I'm telling myself. Because without taking up that bed that I'm laying on, without removing that, I can't move forward. So it comes from John 5 in the Bible, verse 1 through 14. And it says, after this there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went to Jerusalem. Now there was at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. And these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after troubling of the water stepped in and was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. See, there's many times in our life when we are like these sick people. We find ourselves with a need. We find ourselves in great need of some healing, or it may be spiritually, it may be financially, it doesn't really matter what areas of life it is. We may find ourselves exactly like these sick people. And so we gravitate toward an area where we see an opportunity. We see an opportunity where if we could just get in at the right time, if we could just be there at the right time, we would have an opportunity to take care of that problem, to get it solved. Unfortunately, buying a lottery ticket is not what I'm talking about. That's not really, there's one person out of millions that will end up winning. So neither here nor there. My point is that we all find ourselves in this position at some point. And it says, and a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. Even if you had this problem for 38 years, you've been broke for 38 years, you've been sick for 38 years, it doesn't really matter. The point is that you have this problem, but you know that if you wait till the moving of the water, and you can be healed. When Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been nigh a long time in that case, he said unto him, wilt thou be made whole? That is the question that we are all asked in life is, do we want to get this taken care of? And we're all going to say yeah if someone, now listen to what the guy says. He said, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool, but while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. Now, it doesn't matter if he had a valid excuse or not, but his excuse was, every time there's an opportunity, somebody else gets there before me. Somebody else takes that opportunity, and it's just, I can't, and it's not left for me. Before I can get to it, somebody else does. And in our own life, there's many times when we make that same excuse. Well, I was trying, but it was too late by the time I had got a down payment. It was too late by the time I wanted to get to it, and it was too late. And I tried, but there was no one to help me, and nobody invested in me, and nobody helped me start my business. And by that time, the market wasn't good. And we make all these excuses about why things shouldn't work or why they won't work. But when we realize, now it says, and Jesus saith unto him, rise, take up thy bed and walk. Now, what is the significance of this statement? Rise, take up your bed and walk. Rise. Just get up from the ground. Take those excuses. Take up that bed you're laying on. See, we all lay on a bed of excuses at times. We lay on them and we just kind of, we use it to justify not putting in action. We use it to not move ahead in our life, in our business. And so some days we just got to say, take these excuses and just walk. Just go anyway. We take the problem with us. It doesn't matter if we've got these problems. It doesn't matter if there's situations going on. We still go ahead and move forward. We take up that bed and we walk. We just take it with us then. Because we may not be able to solve it all the time, but we do it. And now, this is something that I find very interesting. As soon as we give up the bond, as soon as we come away and we grab onto freedom, immediately something incredible will happen. It says, And immediately the man was made whole, took up his bed, and walked on the same day with the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. Oh, you can't do that. We don't do things like that. Oh, it's not. See, we don't do network marketing, or we don't do. You want to start your own company? My brother's uncle's cousin. He started a company, and it went under. It went belly up. He lost everything he had. I know that guy over there. He started to. He started doing sales, and he just couldn't make a living. Oh, you want to get into the real estate business? I don't know. It doesn't really matter what your dream is. But see, when you have a dream, when you have a plan, and when you start moving forward, immediately, guess what will happen? There will be resistance. And it's very important to realize that this will happen. This is not a maybe or a possibility, but this is an absolute guarantee. When good things start to happen, immediately there will be resistance. If it would have been easy in the first place, you'd have already done it. But because it's hard, people resist it. And when you leave your comfort zone, it makes other people uncomfortable to be around you who are not willing to also leave their comfort zone. And so they will try to hold you back. And I don't even think that most people realize that they do this consciously, subconsciously. I think we all do it at some point. Now, the goal is for us to be aware of that fact and try to move ahead in spite of that. He answered him, He that made me whole, Satan said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. The guy that gave you the vision, the guy that helped you to see the vision, to see the future, see what's possible, that guy said, just, take up those excuses. It may be me. It may be some other guy. It may be your pastor when you were in church today. It doesn't really matter what happened. It doesn't matter where you were, what was going on. But guess what could happen? You saw the light. You saw the vision. See, you read the Bible and Jesus said, take up your bed and walk. And maybe that's the inspiration you had. And now guess what? You get out of your bed and you start walking. You said, you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop giving myself excuses to not move ahead. I'm going to stop making reasons about why I can't succeed. I am going to stop not having faith in the possibilities that God has put into my life. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop using the excuses. It just couldn't work for me. I'm not in a good area. The people around me don't support me. I don't have the finance. I don't have the funds. I'm too broke. I'm too much in debt. I don't have any credit. There's an endless amounts of excuses about why we can't move forward. But the reality is there's a day when we got to move ahead in spite of that. When we now face these people, we try to tell them about this vision that we had, about this guy. We went to a seminar. We heard something incredible. We were inspired. We want to move forward. We want to make a change in our life. And immediately, mediocrity rears its head. And it says, What man is that said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? Oh, who is this guy? Man, what does he think he is? Man, he don't know. How would this guy know? It's funny because in the business that I'm in, I hear this all the time. Oh, I know this guy. He tried that business. I tried it. I work in the network marketing industry. It's not the typical network marketing industry, but still, network marketing industry, direct sales industry. And so I hear all the time, oh, well, I can't believe you're doing that. I know this guy over there. He tried that. Didn't make any money. Didn't make a dime. But yet, they never talk about the successes. They only talk about the failures. But see, mediocrity focuses on keeping people in that, that's why sometimes you need to get around a better sphere of influence, around people that give you a better hope. See, we need to get around people that are like Jesus. See, Jesus was walking around giving people hope. He was healing people. He was getting people to move ahead in their life. Stop laying on this bed. Start moving ahead. Sometimes we gotta hang around those type of people. Maybe we need to hang around more Jesus people. And he that was healed wist not who he was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. Afterward, Jesus findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. Why is it saying that? It is to remind us that once we stop making excuses, once we stop laying on those excuses, and we stop depending on that, we stop we stop relying on those types of things. When we stop doing that, guess what? And we start doing, and we get away, we start making our, straighten our life up, and then we get back into this whole situation. We start making excuses again. It'll be much harder second time around because we achieve some minor success, but now all at once it looks like we have bigger excuses and more of them. So, there's always going to be a reason not to move forward. There's always going to be an excuse that we can come out with. And I'm not saying that you should immediately do something. I'm just saying there's always going to be excuses. Proverbs 22 verse 13, it says, "A slothful man says, there's a lion out without. I shall be slain in the streets." Oh, there's a lion out there. I'm not going to go out my house. There's always a reason not to move forward. There's always an imagined evil. There's always an imagined reason why we can't move forward in our life. And, I say this because I find myself at this position sometimes. Like, I find myself, in my own life, if I look at the areas where I'm trying to grow and I'm not growing, if I got to look in my life and say, what excuses am I telling me? What bed of excuses am I laying on right now? And I'm not saying that sometimes we don't have valid reasons why something don't work. We're going to be very careful that what we're laying on is not a bed, but it is an obstacle we're trying to overcome. And so, at any rate, I just want to encourage you guys. I don't know what area you're in your life. I don't know if there's some area in your life that you feel like you just can't move forward. Well, maybe it's time that you look at your life and you say, well, what kind of excuses have I been making about why I'm not moving forward? People, like, for one of the things that I'm trying to do is change my language a little bit. For example, I used to say, I'm not good at names. See, I was reinforcing a negative possibility. I was reinforcing a negative future for myself. But instead, I got to look forward to the future and say, you know what? The day's going to come. I'm going to be really good at names. Now, guess what I have to do? I have to say, okay, well, what's it going to take to be good at names? Well, I just got to remember them. Now, you got to step down and say, okay, how can I be better at remembering names? Number one, talk with them, engage with them, and put their contact in your phone, whatever it takes. Like, everybody's got their own way of doing it. But the question is like, what are you going to do about the excuses that you're laying on in your life? What are you going to do about the reasons why you can't move forward? And I know that there's reasons in my own life that I like to use to excuse myself. But my question is to myself is, what am I going to do tomorrow that's going to be different from yesterday? So I don't rely on excuses. And this past week, I realized that I was not faithful. Like, I was not living in faith because I was like, oh man, I just about can't afford this. But it was kind of essential. It was kind of important. It was something kind of important. And I realized that, you know what? God has promised, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things shall be added unto you. When we do what's right first, when we do what we need to do to move forward, don't worry about next month. Whatever it takes, just do what it takes to move forward. And stop using excuses. Oh, I just can't afford it yet. That's why I can't grow. Well, maybe you need to buy it so you can afford it. We just have to find a way to move forward. Find a way that we can carry our bed with us. Maybe instead of laying on it, we need to get out of it and put some wheels on that sucker and drag it down the road. I don't know. We just need to find a way that we can move forward in life. And so, anyway, with that, I hope you guys were really blessed. I hope this was something that added some value to you guys. And guys, if you find this interesting and you find this that it added some value to your life, I thank you for watching. But if you have a topic or something you would like me to discuss and share on here, I am now, my goal is to do one a month of these episodes. And you can find them on Facebook and you can find them on YouTube. So with that, guys, have a blessed day and we'll talk with you guys later.